Right, another day, another bit of exploring a cave system as we work our way to the next major boss. Okay, so we can only break that block from above. And wait, is that the worm we freed earlier inside of a chrysalis of some kind? Strange. When I think of caterpillars, I don't typically imagine them living in dark underground areas. They're more of a tree-dwelling type of worm. Of course, maybe I shouldn't be considering it a caterpillar, since it's not like we know if it turns into a massive butterfly or not. So I'm just gonna keep calling it worm for the most part, until it changes into whatever it's gonna change into. Once it transforms, well, then it'll get a name change. Until then, though, I'm gonna need more missiles and more health. I know I called the worm in the tunnel and the tentacles holding the worm bosses, but that was due to how they were a main attraction in their given rooms and took a good deal of thinking and efforts to kill, as opposed to most of the trash enemies we blast through. But once that thing is done transforming, we're probably gonna be in for a supposedly tougher fight than the two we just got past. And of course, like so many other science fiction creatures with a transformation cycle of life, it has to be obscenely quick just so we can move things along. Somehow feels less excusable, since this thing is explicitly not a galaxy-threatening super monster like the Metroids themselves or the Zerg. It's just something obscenely dangerous that happens to call this planet home. As a side note, it's a good thing I remembered that we had to go back after we saw it in the chrysalis in order to take this path. Otherwise, I've been slamming against an impassable barrier for several minutes again. Okay, so it looks like we should be able to gain the super missiles once we're done with this thing. And the room we're fighting in is large enough for the speed boost to kick in. Both very good things to know. Okay, apparently it doesn't matter if we're touched by the stinger or any other part of its body. Though we do have to explicitly shoot the damn stinger. A stinger that moves around quite a bit as the damn thing makes multiple attack runs from multiple angles in this room. Definitely didn't take long to figure out this thing's weakness at all. And I'm sorry to say that running from one side of the room to the other while rapid-firing missiles isn't especially challenging. Sure, we're taking hits, and it's not like we can see a health bar for the enemy, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna survive trading blows like this. And that does it. The Fat Hornet's dead. Measurably more dangerous than the child form, but still, the Hornet requires less thought to deal with than the younger worm. Not that bosses that are particularly simplistic can't be awesome in their own right, as Ridley will eventually show us. Sure, he has a good-sized moveset, and you need to be pretty good at moving around to avoid some of his attacks, but still, his entire body is vulnerable in a series where bosses don't get hurt at all unless they're hit in the absolute right spot, which may not be available to shoot outside of a specific time. But I should probably save more talk of Ridley for when we actually run into him in this game. Sure, we're in his section of the planet, but still. Oh, and while I'm still thinking of it, I can't help feeling annoyed that the music in this area is just plain... Why is it that the area that was named after Kraid had such an amazing background track, but this area kind of feels a little forgettable in comparison? Right, now that we're able to destroy green door shields, that should open things up a decent amount for us. but given the lack of super missiles we're allowed to hold at a given time, it's probably not something we can fully rely on in combat just yet. Okay, for some reason I thought we could go back in order to try exploring some other areas with the super missile doors. Apparently there's something else we need to grab below before we're allowed to go back above ground. Annoying, but I'd say we've certainly gotten used to dealing with that sort of crap in this game. Well, that attempted bit of backtracking certainly didn't take long, sure. That means we're gonna make some more progress sooner, but still. In a game like this, I can't help feeling I'd prefer choosing when to make progress to the next major point, rather than being stuck in a given area until we gain the next major upgrade. Especially when we've already gained an upgrade that feels pretty damn good. Okay, that feels like more than enough time devoted to gaining more health and ammo. What the hell is that mechanical owl thing supposed to be, anyway? Sure, these are Chozo ruins, so it wouldn't be too much of a surprise that they left behind some random things that weren't the various upgrades and statues. And I can't really call it out of place considering the random range of enemies we have to deal with. Seriously, when one of the kinds of monsters you deal with is just a ball of what is assumed to be pure energy, it's hard to be all that concerned about a mechanical owl suddenly swooping down to kill you out of nowhere. What? I mean, yeah, I somehow wasn't expecting an energy tank that quickly, but still. That was quite an abrupt drop, and it wasn't like there were blocks breaking from underneath us. The ground itself was an illusion, like the occasional illusionary lava pools we've seen so far. Sorry, but that felt a bit jarring considering how much trouble we've had getting around in this game. Bloody hell, another trap with no warning. Granted, we're getting close to Ridley, and in the original game the only threat after him was Mother Brain herself, but given just how few energy tanks I've managed to get this far into the game, I can't help feeling that the little traps like this are a bit uncalled for, even if we're getting closer to what was the end of the original Metroid. Though maybe that's just me being absolutely paranoid, because I'm dreading being dipped into lava over and over again when we get to Mother Brain in this game, and we're getting steadily closer to that encounter. Sure, Samus has been growing more powerful, and we've been getting more skilled as the game goes on, but I'm not entirely convinced our growth is going to be able to deal with the way the difficulty curves up by that point. And I'd really rather get through the 2D Metroid games with a bare minimum of cheats, which is preferably none at all. Okay, bit odd to put the map from so close to Ridley's main chamber. And now I can't help wondering if we're actually going to be fighting the bastard in this clip. Part of my brain can't help saying that feels a bit early, despite the fact that we've had some rather dumb slowdowns over the course of this playthrough so far. Though, maybe that's just me generally remembering the other 2D games where I believe we had a number of other boss fights between the start of the game and dealing with that bloody space dragon. I don't think the absolute original Metroid really had all that many boss fights, and while Zero Mission added a few, it's still less than what the rest of the series generally throws at us. A little awkward to have that odd feeling when this is the first game in the franchise I'm having us go through. But hey, I'm just calling out the feelings as they come to me, so long as it doesn't feel all that spoilery to me at any rate. Is talking about boss numbers and future appearances of recurring monsters count as spoilers? Especially when the 2D Metroid series has about as much continuity as the pre-Daniel Craig Bond movies? Can't help thinking we can do more before we need to make another save. Probably because I tend to see save points as stopping points. Right. Would have been too easy to be able to just go left just like that. Seriously, we're past the halfway point through the footage of the game I recorded, and I still haven't fully learned the lessons this game keeps beating me over the head with. Yeah, definitely feels like we're going to be dealing with Ridley in this clip. And that we don't have a choice in the matter considering where we are right now. Son of a bitch, of course I managed to miss one of the final jumps in the hallway. Are we seriously trapped? Apparently not. Sorry, just gonna fast forward a bit to make up for the dropping down that random hole that happened to lead to a short lava bath. And we immediately drop down a different hole that leads to the same place. Brilliant. Well, at least we don't have to worry about being low on health when we get out of that room. Huh. How the hell did I remember that little path, but not any of the others we've had to try to discover over the course of the game? Well, I certainly appreciate the extra super missiles, though considering just how few of them we have, I severely doubt we're going to be shooting at Ridley himself with these, unless I am getting my ass kicked very severely. Okay, certainly wasn't planning on that drop, but we've been having a lot of unexpected drops in this clip. And oh dear, this save room is as close to Ridley's room as we're going to get to try bracing ourselves for the next frantic bit of action to come. Excuse me for wanting to see if there's anything we can grab before we make such a bold step in the direction of a major boss. Well, this area certainly wasn't all that well hidden. And I didn't manage to actually grab whatever upgrade was in that hallway. Just how much of that was my fault and how much of that was the fault of the game for being rather infuriating when it comes to conveying things. Right, probably should have frozen one of those bowls and climbed up on it. Though considering the sheer number of upgrades in this game I've managed to miss, there's not a chance in hell we're ever gonna get even half of what's available for the final boss fight of the whole damn game. Hell, this high barrier is certainly a bigger pain in the ass than the last one we ran into. The shots the eyes send at us block both kinds of missiles just as easily and just keep going. But the only way we're gonna have a chance to damage the thing is by shooting when the eye is open, which is when it attacks. Right. Of course the damn thing didn't give us any health despite taking off some major chunks before a major boss room. Come on, Bugs. Time for you to do what you were born to do. Serve as a living supply cache that replenishes ammo and health of a main character before she deals with more important threats. It's amazing just how many games essentially make the main character feel like a vampire when it comes to healing. Though considering how a lot of games these days essentially make you feel like Wolverine instead, I think I prefer the vampire methods of healing. Anyway, it doesn't seem that Ridley's home just yet, so we'll just grab this unknown upgrade that happens to be right behind his chamber. Thanks for the energy tank as well. We're definitely gonna need it considering how we've been fighting this game so far. Right. The door's locked, so the star has arrived. Good God. The roar he has in the Game Boy Advance games practically forces you to wear headphones, just in sympathy for your poor system's speakers. Yeah, just straighten shots with him and hoping my trigger finger brings him down faster than his tail and fireballs kill us at this point. And apparently I misremembered part of this fight, since shooting him in the back does nothing. You know, I can't even find it in me to be annoyed that we got killed fighting him. Ridley is frantic and aggressive enough that it feels like he earned that. And the blood-pumping music in the background as we fight him doesn't hurt either. There is no puzzle to taking him down. Just avoid his attacks as best you can, while pouring on the hurt as quickly as possible, hoping he goes down first. And that is downright amazing, considering how many Nintendo bosses, especially recurring characters in the respective series, are essentially puzzles in terms of how you bring them down. Hell, he doesn't need too much of a puzzle in a 2D game for him to feel like one of the most dangerous foes you face in the entire game. Especially since I keep leaping into the damn lava like a drugged up college student who thinks this is a beach and we're on vacation. Damn, so close that time. He was red enough to be confused with a tomato. Still, making progress. Or maybe that's a wrong word to use when we're back in the same hallway for the third time in a row in a single clip. Please tell me the third time is the last time. He's gonna be a series regular. No need to drag out how long we deal with him in this first game any more than necessary. Right, just for the sake of causing some more damage in a hurry, let's hit him with the few super missiles we have. So just walking right into his claws does less damage than falling into the lava. Good to know. Alright, and that does it for Ridley. You know, normally I keep trying over and over again, until I finally manage to take him down with nothing but the regular missiles. But I'd say dying twice was more than enough to prove he is a very serious opponent, even if we can afford to just blast at him with rapid-fire missiles, instead of picking our openings like some of the other bosses in this game. And with that, the way to Mother Brain's area is clear. Now to just climb our way out of Ridley's hole back to Brimstar, then reach the room with the 2 statue heads. You know, I'd ask why there are 2 massive statue heads that open up just as we kill the monsters that belong to those spaces, but this is the kind of game where it's hard to actually give a damn about things like that making sense. Hell, we had to destroy some tentacles that were somehow launching spores in order to release a caterpillar, so we could turn into a hornet trying to kill us, to open up a path and crash in a way that gave us an upgrade. After a sequence of events like that, it's hard to really give a shit about how nonsensical some of our traveling around actually is in this game. It may be one of the more grounded Nintendo franchises, but that's a pretty easy bar to jump over, especially compared to the likes of Mario or Kirby.